Or that's a licensed song, huh?
I don't know, Chunk.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. But hey everyone, welcome to OreAni for the summer lineup of 2025. Woo, yeah.
Wait. Oh, I'm getting a call. Give me
Oh,
1 second.
well, small group today. It's just myself and Dragon here. You know, with summer comes great weather, and with great weather comes people exploring outside, having fun. Except for a few of us, you know, we like the indoors a little more. It's too hot for me out there. But yeah, I'd like to welcome everyone for whoever's going to be watching, and I hope you have fun with us. I am kind of stalling a little bit for Dragon here, but other than that, I hope you are enjoying the summer season. It's very heavily loaded. Like, there's a lot of shows I really want to watch, and there's a lot of like continuations of series that I really want to finish, but due with all the titles, it's going to be hard with the time. I might as well mention one title which I can't find the title card for. Is one of the few titles that's on High Dive, and I've also found out there's a lot of shows this season that are on a lot of different platforms than our usual Crunchyroll, High Dive, or Hulu. Right? I mean, we still have some more titles coming on Amazon Prime. There's 2 titles, I believe, there that you can watch. We also have a few that are on YouTube that they're streaming right on YouTube that you can get there every week. And they also have a few that's on another channel or streaming service that we'll get to letting everyone know about that as well. Also, I believe someone mentioned to me that, I think it was you, Dragon, right? You mentioned that there's going to be Summer Wars in theaters soon?
Yeah, so it's in theaters for today, tomorrow, and then Tuesday.
Ah, Vinny.
It's only in the theaters for 3 days. Vinny, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Vinny. Welcome. I don't know if you've seen the worksheet, but we got it out there, so if you can fill it out, we can see what shows you've seen.
Okay.
But I just want to mention a title called Bad Girl on High Dive real quick, even though we don't have the title card. It's one of the few on High Dive, as I said. Give me a second. Let me move some stuff around. Okay, there. Bad Girls. It's a pretty straightforward title, I think, but not really. This girl has an admiration for one of her classmates who's like this prim and proper girl, and I believe she's in the student council, and at the start of a school day, she's out front making sure people are following the school rules. And the main girl notices that she'll tend to focus and point out mistakes rather than people who are following the proper procedures. So she decides that she's going to become a bad girl so she could be noticed by her senpai, kind of thing. So it's a pretty silly show with a mostly female cast, I believe. I've only seen the first episode, so I can't tell you more than that, but it seems to be a fun little friendship story with this girl trying to act bad, but of course she doesn't know how to be bad. And when she actually does something that's maybe seen as a bad, she feels pretty guilty about it, right? Kind of thing. So it might be a fun little show. I might check it out again later on, but like I said, there's just so many titles out there that we want to check out that I'm going to have to put that on the back burner for now and see what else there is.
I'd like to add that like it's also surprising that there's a lot of like good stuff like this season, because usually summer tends to be the weaker season, right?
I think summer usually has quite a bit, I think.
Spring and fall's usually the strongest, and summer and winter tends to be a little weaker, yeah.
Well, we'll have to go through the list later on, Dragon, and see if previous summers were pretty weak or not.
Oh, because I always remember like summer usually kind of being like you know, we have our usual 10, but it's like we always are kind of like very nonchalant about like picking which ones. Like there aren't like as many that were like, oh, we definitely need to add that into the list. It's more like, I'll put points here. I'll put points there. I feel like summer. That's how it's usually been for our previous summer animations. But like this summer, like it's just been like they've been having a lot of good stuff this summer, I think.
All right. Thank you for that, Dragon.
Hmm.
The next title we're going to talk about is. Let me get the title card. Boom! Look at that title card. Looks so impressive. It's called Busaman Gai Gachi Fighter. Sorry, Busaman Gachi Fighter.
Hmm.
And Crunchyroll, they have it Ugly Mug Epic Fighter. And do you want to take this one?
Who?
Anyone.
I mean, I'll give it a try. Alright, so the Ugly Mug Epic Fighter, as it is translated, is the official title for manga of the same title. So it falls into the genre of isekai, video game mechanics. A lot of those are involved, the levelings, picking your job description, and I'm gonna be the hero because hero is a job kind of thing also comes to play. So if those things kind of turns you off, I certainly understand because I'm usually one of those people who is pretty much sick and tired of all those video game mechanic for about good, I'll say 6-7 seasons in a row now. Having said that, the main character in his real life was ostracized by having pretty ugly face. That's how he described himself to be. Although he never really described in detail as how he actually looked, but judging by the people's reaction, he was shunned more than not for not having a good look. Anyway, so one thing led to another. He lost his job by being falsely accused of molesting somebody at the train, which he was not. But because of his ugly mug, everybody assumed that he was one of those hideous people. So his life turned upside down, and he was at the wit's end, thinking, "Yeah, gee, just not what am I supposed to do? I'm in need. I've run out of money, and I'm mooching up with my parents." Then he saw these online rumors about if you do certain things that you might be able to move on to the different worlds, but there's a very stringent requirements. Like it kind of plays like a video games where you have to create your own characters, then you have to allocate your points, and you only have 10 minutes to get it done. Otherwise, you kind of get stuck and getting screwed. And if you want to do over, you can return to your regular world at the expense of losing half of your lifespan, which is kind of severe, especially for young people. If you're like, say, 60, 70, sure, losing half of your lifespan may not be as big of a deal, but, I digress. So he kind of went along with it, and lo and behold, that the menu fell onto him. Then he started to mess around with the statistics and realized that, oh my gosh, it's like those decimal numbers where if I go minus number of 255, I get all these points for free. But since he kind of hated himself being looking bad, ugly, he said, you know what, I'm ugly as it is. Like, why not go take it further? I couldn't be any uglier. So he went all the way to the negative end, and he got all these points, but he kind of forgot that there's a 10-minute limitation to get everything sorted out. So he got resurrected without being able to utilize all those points. And he turned into this very pig-looking, ugly guy with a mole with those thick hair sticking out. Very, very villainous-looking character. And he was surrounded by 3 other fellows who was resurrected, and they're kind of forced to team up at the moment, at the beginnings, so that they can navigate their way themselves through. And his journey begins, and he was afraid that everybody's gonna shun him over for even uglier than before. But one of them has a heart of the gold, and the other is a truly upstanding guy who does not look at somebody at the face value. And the other one's kind of shy, so it's kind of tagging along. And that's where we are at the moment, trying to navigate through this new world, going through all of his screw up that he did, and which is that he messed up with the money part where he needs about 10,000 of whatever currency in order to be able to procure one. So whatever he touches money-wise, it just disappears because of that little hijinks that he created just for the kicks, and it's coming to bite his butt. So he was trying to figure out the ways to get around by borrowing stuff instead of getting money, letting somebody else take his money so that he doesn't have to touch it and physically actually destroying in process. So far it's been pretty entertaining because it doesn't have your typical overpowered character. He is a very overpowered, but it takes a different direction because he cannot be the straightforward heroic guy where all the girls comes, oogling at him. Doesn't work that way because he's so ugly. So he has to be how do I do be the background character, but also try to be the good guy, then try to navigate all this hijinks of being ugly. And he also cannot touch the girl, any girls, period. It's like if somebody some opposite gender touches him, he loses 10 points of his life every 10 seconds. So it's almost a death sentence to him. So he has to navigate all that obstacles from get-go. But yeah, it's been pretty entertaining series so far. Production is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty spot on as the manga is. So I'm hopeful that it will carry on for the next 10 episodes or so.
All right. Now, I will say one thing about this show. It seems to be very character focused rather than the world focus. Because, like, even after 3 episodes, we really don't know much about the world. They haven't really introduced us to anything around them. Even, like, how does a starting town look? Is it your typical river through the center of a circled city that you tend to see in the isekai? We don't know anything. We've only really been to, like, a restaurant and maybe some buildings, but we have no idea what's actually this town, what's going on, what the dynamics with this country or world is. It's been really focused on the characters, and also it seems that we'll be focusing a lot on their previous life and what kind of forced them to want to leave their world to come here.
Right. I think the whole message is that when people want to get away from their previous life and whatever shortcoming, they tend to overcompensate that and end up creating different kind of monster. And all those characters have a tendency to do just that. So it kind of makes people guess. It's okay, if this person has this kind of characteristic, how was their real life? I mean, pretty sure it's the opposite end of what they are. So does that mean they are the good person? That were a bad person? Was a weak versus strong person? So it kind of makes people guess as to what they were like in real life. So there's an interesting part to consider. And yes, the town they're in really is pretty non-descriptive. It doesn't really stands out in any way. It doesn't, as Tank said, it doesn't put any emphasis on whether this is a beginner town, kind of tutorial level, or is it the main town, or is it something else? And they don't have any there's no end goal just yet. There's no big bad guy that everybody has to team up to slay. Nothing like that. They haven't even dropped any of that so far. So that's remain to be seen as to which direction this will take.
Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting show, so it is one of those shows I would say check it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have anything to add, Dragon, or should we go to the next set?
I think I just want to add that I do, even though there isn't as much, world building, I think how they're taking it, just because, we're kind of just set in with these 4 characters who, in a sense, are gonna kind of be our main group that we will always see. It's very nice to see that they're focusing on trying to help pave the way for people to figure out what kind of character each of these 4 people are. I mean, we don't get all the world building, but I do like that they're putting in the emphasis on trying to heavily let us try to understand these characters. but I think it's been a very entertaining show. I was trying to find the source to start reading some of the manga just because I got a little bit curious after some of the cliffhangers. I just wanted to see like what direction it was gonna go. So I did take a little read here and there.
So what I found online is that it's a 32 chapter series of a manga, and it
Hmm.
supposedly is in a finished status.
Oh,
So we'll see how 32 isn't that much
yeah.
in my thoughts. So it might be just one season, one core. So
Hmm.
we'll see how this goes. Okay, next up is, I believe this is called City. Let me see if I can find it. Man, this thing does not have all the titles because I don't even see the
Uh-oh.
City anime. But City the animation, if Vinny, you want to take it? I think this is one of the titles that's on Amazon Prime to
Yeah, I
watch.
believe so. All right, so this is series that many of the fans of OreAni and the fans of Nichijou has been looking forward to, since it is both produced by OreAni as well as the same creator of the Nichijou, which personally was a bit of jarring for me to watch at the time. Although Albert did say that as you build up your experience as watching anime, it becomes a lot easier to digest, and I do agree on that. Um, whereas the city is a lot easier to digest. It has that same quirkiness and the wackiness of the Nichijou, but they dialed it down just enough so that it's not something that kind of makes you go, huh. It is built upon a city named City, and centers around the multiple characters that live in the towns. One's a waitress at the small family restaurant, one's a student, one's a aspiring photographer, and so on and so forth. They're living their lives and going through the daily hijinks. It is very what's the words? I'm kind of losing my words over how try to describe this series. It is very different than your typical anime. However, it
Hmm.
is very faithful to the series, the manga itself. It's like watching manga unfolding into animated form in the best way possible. It has its
Hmm.
colorful characters. It's got that funny comedic moments. It transforms from one to another quite seamlessly, and if you're a fan of those like daily life of comedy type of person, this is something that you should definitely give it a try. It doesn't try to force you to laugh, but there's a lot of hijinks that happens that just makes you chuckle over because of the absurdity of the whole things that just unfold. But it just somehow makes sense because of the way that's the type of series this is.
Hmm.
Uh,
I've seen a little bit.
I'm not sure if there's like after credits postcard or scenery. I didn't realize that if there was any, but I do remember their website does feature extra stops of each episode that pertains to the main uh animators and what have you.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. We'll go to the next title. Thank you for that, Vinny. We got next up is Clavitas. Let me turn on that. Boop. I had no idea what to expect from this show, and OMG, it is crazy. Clavitas is streaming on Crunchyroll, and it's one of your few fantasy shows out there that isn't an isekai, and it follows Alicia, which is a hero, one of I think the 13 heroes that went to go defeat the great demon of the south, and we're thrown straight into their journey to go fight this demon, and then also the fight in aftermath. And because of these heroes disturbing the demon's slumber or his rest over there in the south, he decides that humanity should pay. And after defeating all the heroes, he decides to destroy the whole human race. And he starts off with destroying the kingdom that sent the heroes, because he noticed the weapons that the heroes were using, and it just so happens in this kingdom's the only one that's able to produce these weapons that increase the strength and abilities of all of these heroes to so much more than what they should be capable of. So he decides to go destroy them first, and in the process, he finds a couple in the rubble, and it's I believe it's a boy that has a baby in his hands and says, just calling out to no one, please protect this baby. And it just so happens that the demon is there, and he's like, why should I save this? I have no reason to save this. I hate humans. But through this dialogue, the boy convinces the demon to give humanity another chance with this baby. He will raise it and see if he'll live up to the human nature to be destructive and to try to kill him or whatever, or will he prove that humanity has more potential, kind of thing, right? So in the process of saving this baby, he needs help taking care of it, since it's a human and he's not. So he decides to resurrect Alicia, which is one of the heroes, I think the only female hero, to help take care of this baby, because the baby needs food and knowledge, and since she's a female, he believes that she could take care of it. But of course, as she's a pure maiden, I don't know if that's really it, I'm just going to call it that way right now, she has no way of producing milk for the baby, and also is inexperienced with kids. So it just goes to show how the demon's knowledge of humans is scattered and not fully complete there. But we also have a hero who's not all there as well, as she was trained and mostly raised for fighting, right? So it's going to be a fun little thing with both of them together as they try to raise this baby. This world is very dark, with a lot of danger everywhere. There's a lot of things where you can't believe a lot of the people you meet out there. So it makes me, kind of brings that question: is this world really worth saving? Kind of stuff. But at least she, being the hero she is and how she was raised, she believes everyone should be saved. And as you go through, you'll meet other characters, and some of the stories are just so sad about. I mean, they're just amazing how they've told some of the stories. But it's still really early to figure out what's going to happen or how things are going on. But we are learning a little bit more about the world and about the people and how mechanics work here, because we were just introduced also to magic, which even the hero kind of knows a little bit but doesn't have any ability with it. So we'll see how this world slowly shapes as they travel through it to raise this little baby. You have anything to add?
The issue is that I didn't watch the first episode, so I was like a little bit lost on a little bit of stuff, because I only came in, I think, on the second episode, and But from what I've seen, like this is a heavy dark show. So it's if you don't like, like gore or like really heavy like subjects, then this is not going to be the anime for you. This is like a forewarning. This is like not going to be for you. Um, but it is very. I do like this dynamic of like, like the enemies have to come together to try to like, you know, like do something together. In this case, raising a child. Um, it's it's very interesting with the dynamic of that like the demons just doesn't know how to raise like a humanoid child in a way. And so not only is the demon gonna have to start like learning about more about people, but then it's like gonna be kind of like possibly from the hero side is like they're gonna have to like teach and like it's I don't know. For me, it's kind of like interesting when you get two characters that's supposed to have like opposing views and they have to like work together and like learn about each other in order to be successful. Um, but all the animation for this has been really great as well. Um, I've been having a really good time enjoying it. I'm gonna have to try to go back and watch the first episode to kind of get a little bit more context of the foundation from the beginning. But I did want to bring up that is it. I wonder what the style choice was because I think like if they go into flashbacks, right? It's always like kind of like slightly blurred. Is that something that you noticed as well, Tank, or no?
I can't say I really paid attention to that. So
Because that's what always bothered me. Because I always kept thinking like, oh crap, is like my internet signal like just dying out right now, and it's like changing the quality. But then like right now I just started a little bit of the first episode, and we're in a flashback to Alicia when she was a child, and like it still has that like kind of like slant like same like fuzz or blurred effect versus like the usual that we see.
maybe it's just done that way to signify that they're looking back, and your memory's not always as clear as you think.
Mm.
Who knows?
But something that I noticed, I was like, interesting. Because like most flashbacks they just kind of have that like in the most common ones they usually have like the white shading on the outside to like signify like a like phew, like we're in the mindscape of looking in the memory. But
I just looked at it, and yes, the flashback part is fuzzy.
right, it is fuzzy, right?
Yeah, it's not the streaming quality. It is fuzzy.
Mm.
Okay.
Such a stylistic choice.
I do want to mention one thing. I guess I would say it's almost comparable to the darkness of like Goblin Slayer, but without
Mm.
goblin and rape.
Well,
Well, goblin rape. I mean.
okay, yeah. I want to say it doesn't have the rape part. I mean, sadly, we already kind of know in an episode.
But yeah, it's just a very grim and gritty world. So let me see. Let's see. Let's see what the next title is. When you watched a little bit of it with us, Vinny, did it catch your interest or?
It does certainly look interesting. Yes, just not for the people who started to violence and gory,
Mm.
but it definitely falls into your straight up dark fantasy type series.
All right. Give me a second. I'm trying to. I guess I don't know what's with this icon pack I got.
Oh.
It doesn't have a lot of the stuff I'm looking for because like there's not even a Don the Don title card. So.
Oh, I mean,
But
are we really gonna say much about Dun 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 season 2?
Yeah, we can just gloss over it. I mean, it's season 2. It's continuing off exactly where it
Right.
left off.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying is like, is there really that much to talk about? It's
Yeah.
it's very kind of like it's just gonna be like, oh, if you enjoyed season 1, you're most likely gonna watch season 2. There's
Yeah.
nothing that we can really say to be like, okay, yeah, you need to watch season 2. It's just, it's at this point where it's like, if you enjoyed season 1, you were most likely gonna watch it. If you didn't like Dun Dun Dun, then obviously you're not gonna touch Dun Dun Dun.
Yeah. And then also, if you saw the movie in theaters, the movie was just a compilation of the new season with, I
Like
think,
the
the
first
last
three
episode.
episodes, right? Or,
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I didn't get to see it because it wasn't playing anywhere near me, but yeah.
mm,
The next title we can talk about, though, is a show that I'm really interested in. We haven't seen a lot of it, but it's called Food Court de Mata Ashda, or See You Tomorrow at the Food Court, which is on Crunchyroll. The title card's kind of hard to see, but it's there. Um, yeah, this show. I've only seen one episode of it. I would like to watch more, but there's a lot of other titles, like I said, mentioned, that are a little more interesting right now. But this
I will
has
say
its
that we
own
had a
charm.
very fun time with just watching the first episode because like when we saw like the setting and how like we're like, wait, they're not using like a spoof of like a brand, like we literally just saw like straight up KFC. It wasn't like like a spoof of like saying like BFC or whatever, right? Or like if it was McDonald's, it's not like we saw like WickDonald's. Like it was literally like the advertisement was KFC, and then what sold it further as being so interesting was that we recognized, like we looked at some of the signs of the locations and we found out that that is a real location. And we actually explored it on Google Maps, which is so funny to me that we found like the literal mall that it's taking place at, and we were able to like find the location through images and whatnot.
And they also make a lot of cultural references. Like if you see the GIF we got on there, the sweater she's wearing, they make a call out to the guy with the knife fingers that attacks you in your nightmares.
Mm.
So they do make well, they probably don't name drop that one, but they do have a lot of call outs to a lot of stuff that's going on around us. And it's just these two girls who are complete opposite of each other. One's, I think, the class leader, while the other one's considered a gal that's cold to everyone. But together, they just meet up at this mall and just have fun just chatting with each other. It's mostly the female letting off steam while the gal just supports her friend, right? And
Mm.
as they talk, and it kind of reminded me a lot of like a Lucky Star, that first episode though, where they're just talking
Oh.
about. In Lucky Star, it was so weird. A lot of people complain about it, but it spent like the whole first episode talking about food they like. Oh, do you eat the strawberry off your cake first, or do you save it for last? Or, they had
Mm.
all these just casual banter that you would find anyone having out there. And that's what they're kind of showing in this first episode, is just these two just having fun, complaining about how people are popular, how come things don't turn out the way for them. Oh, maybe we should check this out, or I like this food. So I'm kind of expecting more of that, but it's very fun in its own sense to see how um, the the kids in Japan are, if it's portraying them correctly or not. So hopefully it represents them well enough that when we go to Japan and see these people, are like, do you guys really talk like that? But it's a really interesting show, so I wouldn't mind watching more of it.
Mm.
Anyone else have anything else to say? Or
Uh,
I wonder how much they pay to obtain the license to use KFC
yeah, I
and the
know.
Baskin
yeah.
for such a small show. It's not as
I mean, I
fancy
would say
as
it's how much they pay to like just use everything from like the mall, because like we saw like we know like the location of the city, and we know like the mall, like we found the mall, and then we saw like the theater name and whatnot. Like
Yeah,
it's kind
everything
of a little
matched.
bit of like everything. I was like, I wonder like how much they paid in order to be able to get the, you know, uh, the license to use like every like name brand from that mall.
Maybe they use the influence approach. We'll pay you with exposure.
Honestly, it could work. I mean, it could be another thing like, like Zombieland Saga, right? Saga isn't super crazy like well known to visit, but when Zombieland Saga came out, I remember there was a spike of tourists going to Saga.
You mean they want to turn this mall into anime pilgrimage site? Is that what you're telling me?
I mean,
The
I'm just
tears.
saying it's possible. It's a possibility, you know?
I can see Dragon visiting that mall and in awe and try to take a very spot those girls are sitting with the KFC in his hand.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and go to our next title, which we're only 2 episodes in. The third episode came out yesterday, or today, actually, I should say.
Mm,
So we didn't get to watch the third episode. But it's a show called Gachiakta.
yeah.
And if you want to know the translation, there is none, because that's what they've got on Crunchyroll as well. But it's a strange show, and but it is somewhat entertaining. We got a place that seems to be futuristic, but also very different from what we would think of the future. Very fantasy-like, where in this world, the inner circle, is this clean, prosperous place where everything's high in wealth. But then on the outsides, you have the slums, which are seen, and people are seen as dirty, no good for nothing and stuff. And as the upper class lives with their immense wealth, everything else around them is just considered trash, and trash isn't needed. I think they kind of display that with this girl having a teddy bear and it has a little tear, and instead of repairing it, they just decide, oh, we're just gonna throw it away. It's trash now. We'll just get you a brand
Yeah.
new one. So it shows the mindset, but of these people. But then we have our main character, Rudo, who was raised by. We don't know. I can't remember exactly what happened to his parents, but he was being raised by another within the slums, and he was taught that all items out there have a soul, and eventually a soul will reside in everything. So you need to treat it with respect and treat it with kindness. So he would go on these trash excursions and try to collect stuff that the higher class has discarded, to take them and then repair them and give or sell or keep as his own. And you find out that this world is really kind of messed up in a sense that criminals are sentenced to what they call the pit of death, or pit of hell, or maybe something, I can't remember, where if they commit a crime, they're latched up and then thrown over the cliff or the edge of the world, because it seems like this is a floating island or something weird. And what happens to them down there, no one knows. But our friend Rudo gets himself into a situation where he is then convicted and sentenced to being dropped. And because of this wrongful conviction, he sees this world as nothing but trash and wants to rid of it. And he'll do everything he can to, prove and to get revenge for what's happened. So as he's dropped in this world that's nothing but trash down there, you find out it's just heaps and heaps of trash. you find out there's these monsters down there living, and now it's him having to survive in this new world while also trying to find the strength to rise back up to get his revenge. So it's very interesting, but it seems like it had a hiatus, or I don't know, because it seemed like we had a week without an episode. But
Mm.
we'll see what happens, and it's very, very harsh lines. I almost want to say it's kind of like comparable to Kill la Kill with its thick, harsh lines and very distinct framing, but it has, I think, nothing to do with Trigger. So, in its own sense, it has this really unique look that I'm really enjoying. Anything else?
I don't know what else to really add about this. It's just, it's definitely one of those like eh, out there animes. Like like it's. I feel like I don't know, something that every time when I was looking at it, like all the, maybe it was just because of some of the outfits, but all I could remember thinking about that made me think it was like something similar was it's not even really that similar. I think it's just the appearance of it was similar. It made me think of um I forget the name, but it's the Sabakui like Bisco or something like that. It's like, remember, like there's like the crazy like plants or like fungus that would, that would try to infect people, and then there was like a whole task force designated to getting rid of them, and then there was like a doctor that was like trying to use the fungus in order to heal people and whatnot. I don't know if you remember that anime, Hank, but when I was watching this anime, it made me kind of it just for some reason just made me think of that anime.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I have to check it out. I don't think I've seen that anime, so I'll have to check it out and see how they compare.
Mm.
But yeah, very, very, very interesting show. But I think that'll be it for that. There's a lot more going on. I was trying to be vague for people who want to watch it, so do check it out. At least the first episode, because it's crazy. Next up is, I think this was Albert's favorite show, right?
Oh,
Of course, I got no title card, but the Game Center
okay, so-
Shoujo to Ibunka Kyoryu. Hopefully, I can get titles for next time. But yeah, that show. I'll put the GIF that we have here so you can check it out. But it starts with this blonde-haired girl at a game center playing the crane game and losing royally. While the staff member sees this, he decides to help her out and realize there's this communication barrier, right? She speaks English while he, being a native Japanese, doesn't understand English all too well. Or having a communication disorder. So, through some misunderstandings, how do you say it? She mistakes his words as a confession of love, and now he's the target of her affection, in a sense. But it's really weird and awkward, I would say, for him, because I think she's supposed to be a middle schooler while he's, full-fledged, like probably 18-year-old adult. In this world, I haven't seen him go to school yet, so I don't know if he's a high schooler or whatnot, or if he's in college, but we haven't gotten much information on him yet. But, yeah, she speaks a lot of English, but very broken English and very weird accent. I guess she's trying to be English, right?
Yeah, like British English.
British English, so it sounds really weird, but I don't think the English is any fault of hers, right? Because I know she's supposed to be, she knows English. She played Carol, so she kind of speaks in that weird accent that she did in Tomo.
She's a Japanese American VA.
Yeah,
But
but so
I literally don't know why. Like, maybe she's. It's possible that maybe she just isn't that good at doing a British accent. Um,
I'll say the British actors and actresses are better at mimicking American
yes,
accent than vice versa. And I believe she's a native Californian, LA based.
yeah, I
So
think
she
she's an
tries
American as
to
well.
emulate that British accent, but just somehow it sounds like nothing like it. And what it end up happening is that she sounds like Japanese voice actor trying to speak English, but comes out in this awkward, broken English with the accent going all over the places.
Yeah,
but I don't blame the English that she says on her because I think she does know what to say, but the script says it this way, so it makes it sound also really weird.
So it's the fault of the creator for being stupid.
But but like you will hear some phrases that she'll say that I'm like, oh, that was done really well. That was really nice. But then you'll have moments where she's like, please think that, or she'll say it in such a weird way. I'm like, wait a minute,
yeah.
that's not how we would say that. But in episode 2 that I've seen actually, I should say, um, they are going more towards Japanese, I guess, when it's just her and her mother, so that we don't have to hear a lot of that broken English or and such. But it's a fun little I guess rom com that you can check out if you have nothing else to do. Because it's not too bad if you can get past the English, but we'll see.
I don't know. I just got so much bones to pick with this series. At this point, I'm pretty much hate watching.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah. I grabbed that in the other chat before about the choice of the girls' names to the whole look. I think I grabbed about how it's a Japanese unhealthy obsession over Alice in Wonderland is just oozing through her, and it just bothers me so much.
I see. Well, let's go to the next title then, because we got quite a few more, which is the show which you can barely read there in the clouds. Hikaru ga shinda natsu. Did I say that right, or where's the title? I've lost it now. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Hikaru ga
Hikaru ga
shinda
You
natsu.
said
Shinda
it.
Natsu.
Yeah, you said it right without the question mark.
Yeah, the summer Hikaru died. I haven't seen any of this. It seems
I've only seen like maybe half of the first episode. But was I was highly recommended to read the manga for this. So that's why I decided to just take a chance and like, oh my god, this is another really heavy anime. Like it already straight off from the bat. I mean, the name itself already has the spoiler. The English name is The Summer That Hikaru Died. So, um, literally right from the beginning, um, Hikaru is the white-haired character in here. He we don't know what had led to it, but he is like basically like possibly like fallen off like a cliff and is like on the forest ground in the rain, like all like um hurt, and he's kind of like just begging that he wants to live. And in literally the next moment, we just kind of see, I forget the other guy's name, but Hikaru and the other guy are like together, and then the other guy is like saying like kind of like realizes like you're not Hikaru, are you? And then it goes to show that something has come over in possession of Hikaru's body. And that's literally like maybe just like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the anime. And it's like already like very heavy subject stuff, pretty crazy stuff. I haven't gone further than that, but I was very much recommended to read it, and then that's why I decided to watch it. And everyone has been like really excited to watch the anime adaptation. But um, if I do recall, let me make sure. I don't want to say something that is incorrect. I believe.
You believe Hikaru died? Just kidding.
Um, Okay, it's not. Ooh, okay. Because a lot of people do tend to ship the main two characters. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't actually a BL, and I didn't want to, present that information because people have been presenting it as kind of like a BL, but it is not.
Okay. Let's go to the
But it
next.
is very it starts off really heavy, and I'm already very like interested in trying to like figure out like what it is truly that came over or took possession of Hikaru's body.
So for people who want to maybe check it out, I think it's one of those titles that's on Netflix. It's a
I
Netflix
think so.
show.
Yes, it's a Netflix show.
So next up, we got Hotel Inhuman. It was somewhat interesting. We've only seen the first episode, but it seems to be a hotel that caters to inhumans, and that doesn't mean monsters in a sense, like creatures. It means people who aren't living in the normal life, like assassins and others, that we may consider monsters, or in this hotel, they cater to those individuals with the line that we will never say no to that person. And it seems like it's going to target mainly the cast of the hotel and who these people are, but in a way that we have a new visitor coming to the hotel maybe every episode or few episodes to tell the story. Because in the first episode, it was just one guy. We got his backstory, how he became an assassin, how he got into this life, and then what led him to go to the hotel because of his problems, and how they helped him with his issues and solved it. So, in a nutshell, that's that show. Can't go any more into it because we didn't watch all of it, but if you know more about it, let me know, because let me know if it's worth trying to pick up a little more of. It looked okay, but too many other shows that are really great to watch. Next up is this title, which is a paragraph and a half. Isekai Mokushiroku Myongahara Hametsu no Bunmei de Hajimaru Sekai Seifuku.
Bless you.
I can't even say the English word. The apocalypse bringer Morihonga, the world starts with the civilization of ruin. I can't speak English or Japanese, guys. This is a Crunchyroll show. It's with that long title, you can kind of guess that it's an isekai, right? Where
Isekai light novel.
Yeah, light novel where the boy's bedridden and gets isekai'd. Now he has this new view on life, but it just so happens that in this world is very following a lot of the same principles as this video game he played and got really good at. So he's met with his I guess I want to say kind of like a familiar Otto, and or this character seems to remember everything from the game that Takto played when he was bedridden, and remembers all of the deeds they've done with each other in this game. So now they're with each other in this new world, so they very much know how each other works and their gameplay, so they're working with each other to set their lives and their kingdom, and to also learn about the world they're in so that they can see how they can survive and how they're going to live. So I haven't read the light novel, but I have read the manga. The manga is very, very dark. It gets pretty dark, I should say. Um, a lot of really heavy stories will be told in the future. Right now, we're still in the introduction phase, learning more about the world, learning more about the characters and all the other people that we might be running into in the future. But um, it is a pretty somewhat interesting in a sense that as you go further and learn more about others that might be similar to Takuto in this world, it'll get a lot more interesting. So, um, yeah. But at least we're not in a starter town with the river through it. We're in the middle of a forest with him just sitting on the bed or a stone slab. But we'll see how things go, and I'm really excited to continue this. As for the manga, when I was reading it, the what do you call those people? The fan translations. It was really slow to get out, so hopefully they'll go past what I've read, and I'll be able to finish this story. You have anything to add, or?
I don't have much to add. I think the part that interested me the most was how like self-aware Ato is, being that like she knew like she came from a game that that Takuto was playing. Like she like has memories of like, doing different sessions, like world conquering sessions with Takuto. Like that to me was pretty like unique in that, like, because most of the time when someone gets isekai, it's like they kind of like just start with their same headspace that they were in the game. They weren't, they always thought it was, this is how reality and life has been. It's not that they knew that they were in a game, but for Ato, like, she knew that she came from a game, and to me that was pretty unique.
Okay. Let's go to the next title. I forgot we got a lot of titles and we're already halfway through our time, so we're going to try to push a little faster for some of these until we get to some shows that we really want to talk about.
Yeah.
But here's this show. Kamitsubaki shi ken setsuchu, some weird title like that. On Crunchyroll, it's Kamitsubaki, City Under Construction.
Kensetsuchu.
And it seems that the characters in the show have been around for a while in some form.
Yes.
They had concerts. I think even Dragon, when he went to Japan a few years ago, right?
So, Vinny, remember when the night when we went to the izakaya and like they still had the posters on the poles of like, anime characters in like the main outfits, and then literally after we finished the izakaya, like it all changed. It was the concert for this anime. Like the characters in this anime, it was their concert.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't realize that.
Because I was like, Kamitsubaki, I kept looking at them. I was like, the colors look so familiar. And I was like, I went back and started looking through our photos because I remember taking a picture of like the poll advertisements. And
Yeah.
there it was. It was Kamitsubaki. Yeah.
The songs in this show are really wonderful. I like them a lot. I've been enjoying it. But the world is so confusing to me still. I don't know where we are in this world. It's some kind of fantasy world, I would have to guess. But strange events happen where like lots of people are just turned to ash in a blink of an eye, and then monsters start attacking. And our main girl, Calf, who I've also seen in a lot of music videos on YouTube. You can find a lot of songs that she sings on there. Calf loses her parents and starts living with her, I believe, her aunt. And in her distraught, she starts singing, and she doesn't even know she's singing part of the time. She just starts singing, and she ends up running into what they call Lapis, this little boy that also has this like avatar of a fish that's always around him. and he kind of has this, like, I guess a second body, which is a fish that she later on then commands to fight these monsters. But I guess it kind of falls in love with her singing or her magic or whatever she uses with her singing. But it's so strange. I would say I don't know if I want to recommend it, but it is an interesting thing to try to check out. It started within episode 0. So, and I thought it was weird because the episode 0 finished and then episode 1 was a part 2 of whatever happened in episode 0, right? So it's like that's a strange way of labeling your episodes, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. If anything, maybe check out some of the songs by Calf or the other characters because some of them are pretty interesting. Let's see here. What? No one's watching Rent a Girlfriend season 4? But for people out there, you probably already know it. It's out there. I haven't watched it because I hate mommy, right?
Yeah, mommy.
So, yeah, down with mommy.
I will say that, I mean, I don't know. I already heard a spoiler from the manga, and it kind of just really kind of like turned off any reason of trying to continue watching or even reading this piece of media. And I don't know if I should say it or not, but I'll just say that I heard a spoiler from something that was like, I don't know, like if it's, I mean, it's kind of recent now, or it's not as super recent, but it was recent. But I heard something that really just turned me into being like, this literally is a hot piece of garbage that is not worth sinking your time into.
What is it? Like at the last episode, he's going to get hit by a truck and it becomes isekai'd.
Do you want me to say the spoiler?
No.
Okay, I won't say it. If anything, we can discuss this afterwards.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about
yeah,
your
for
favorite
those-
show. Let's talk about your favorite show, though.
yeah, the highlight now. Oh, one of the highlights I've been waiting for. Oh my goodness.
So we got the next title, Kaoru Hana wa Rurin to Saku, or The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Oh.
Oh my god. I remember just like hearing about it. I'm like, whoa. This looks super cute. And then like, you know, this was like before they like, you know, had the PV trailer. Like it was just the name and they just talked about what the anime was, or like a little bit of what the anime was about. And then so I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and give it a read on the manga. And I was so like, oh my god, I love this manga so much. It's so good. I will say it's a very like almost like Romeo and Juliet kind of style of like romance. Being that like they come from like two, like they're not, you know, like it's not family drama. It's more that they're in like two different like social and school lives. Like one, Karuko Waguri, she is going to Kikyo, which is like a all girls like prim and proper like academy, and like they're like most of the girls there come from like rich families, and so they're all like, you know, taught with like specific manners and how to like, you know, conduct themselves like socially so that they don't, you know, bring shame to their families. Versus what's the boys' school's name? Do you remember the school name for the Chidori? Yeah, Chidori is like almost like a delinquent. So it's like literally two opposite of the spectrums, and they're right, like the schools are right next to each other, and so that's why I say it's like Romeo and Juliet, because it's like two differing social yeah, I guess social or like two different manners of like what they should be doing, like school of people, and so it's a very, what's the main character's name? What's the main guy's name? Rin. No. Yeah. Wait.
Rintaro.
I'm sorry. Rintaro. So Rintaro, he like everyone thinks he's this like super like kind of like angry and like scary looking figure, but truly he is literally like a cinnamon roll. Like he is very like soft and like he like everyone has this big assumption of him and that it's just it ends up not being true. Like once they all like figure out who he really is, he's like really like soft spoken and all he wants to do is just like keep to himself for the most part. And I think the reason why he keeps to himself is because everyone has that kind of like expectation that he's gonna be like super rude and mean, but he's definitely not. And like something that we see of like his more softer side is that his family owns like a cake shop, and so he will like help his family out at the cake shop, whether it be like helping to like sell sell some of the cakes, and that's essentially how Rin and Waggerty meet. Waggerty actually goes and visits his cake shop, and she is a regular at his family's cake shop. And then oh, it's so cute. Tank, you gotta take this because I'm gushing over too much right now.
Yeah, so a lot of what Dragon said and mentioned is that it is the very Romeo Juliet dynamic. These two people that are kind of falling for each other, but with the other friends and family and members kind of pushing these two to be apart due to what's considered socially normal. So it's very fun. I think we learned about this for the first time on AniFest Online, which is an Aniplex festival that's shown online that introduces the next shows for the whole year. So we saw that, and it mentioned this title, so we looked it up, and we instantly fell in love with what we saw there, and then started reading the manga, and became even more excited about this anime. So it's a very nice, I would say, story. And Romeo and Juliet's always proven itself to be kind of like a very popular title. There's a lot of other shows out there that have the same dynamic that have become highly popular. So I don't see this one failing, but it is on Netflix, so it's really easy for everyone to get to and to watch it and to check it out and see how if these two can make their feelings known for each other and have everyone accept it, or are they going to run into a lot of your typical problems where there's betrayal of trust and you know a fallout in a sense because of these two wanting to be together. So we'll see how that goes as we watch, because that's typically the Romeo and Juliet thing, right?
Yeah, there's always that like fear of like if we do end up like trying to be together, like will the people that we care about like kind of turn away from us now? Will they like or like will they try to do things to like break each other apart? Um, just like different um barriers that they have to encounter like by their like own like little like society of like friend groups essentially.
Yeah. But we're going to keep on watching, and hopefully it turns out to be something really, really fun and great.
I mean, first off, the animation is great because Cloverworks, amazing work. And then I will say that Cloverworks has two shows this season that like literally just hit it out the ballpark animation wise. And this is one of them.
Two, there's a three.
There's three, and there's
Mhm.
which one's the third one? I only remember the two that I'm mostly focusing on, but which one was the third one that they're working on this season?
Sequel to Bunny Senpai.
Oh, that's probably why I didn't put it as three because I wasn't even watching it.
So it's,
Okay, Cloverworks has three pieces of media that are literal god tier animation because it's Cloverworks.
all right. Let's go to the next title. Well, I'll be quick with these ones because they're not really that big of a show.
Mm.
Um,
Also, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be off a little bit. I'm gonna go take a call really quick.
okay, we got Kizetsu Yusha to Ansatsu Hime, or The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princess. Very stupid show. It's a fantasy where we got our hero who's like OP as everything, but he's very very shy. He can't take pressure. Everything scares him in a sense that he has no confidence in himself and feels that he'll let everyone down. And because of this, he also has no uh, defenses against females. But with this, he's also hasn't been able to form a party because he's too shy to reach out to get someone. And when people try to reach out to him, he kind of freaks out and gets scared. But these three individuals end up joining him and making a party, kind of against his will, because he's like I said, he's too scared to try to do anything. But they kind of force themselves onto him, all for the sake of killing him. And the three girls instantly find out that what each other is trying to do, and kind of make this pact and have a little understanding that they'll take turns in trying to kill him in their own way. But through these encounters and through these attempts, the hero tends to save them and help them in a way that kind of brings them a little closer. So will they still want to kill him by the end of this series? We don't know. Is it something that is going to prevent them from continuing on living their normal lives afterwards? We'll see. But it's been really fun. It is somewhat perverted because of two of these girls are very well endowed and have the bodies like almost like one piece, where heavy on top, very thin in the middle. But each of them has their own reason for wanting to kill him. One's like the Demon King's daughter, so to prove herself. The other one's an assassin that's being paid, and this is her way of life. While the other one just sees men as toys and figures that having a hero as a toy would be a new conquest for herself. So it's just really strange on how this is going, but it's stupid, but it's stupid fun for me. So that's why I'm watching it. But something I can't really recommend, but I'm going to keep on watching it. Yeah, and the hero is OPAF. I mean, he can kill anything with one hit. Next up is Kanojo something. I think this is the title. You can't really read that, but it's Kanojo Denka no Kate Kyoshi, or the private
Kojo Denka.
Oh, Kojo. Yeah, I'm sorry. I read Kanojo. Kojo Denka, private tutor and the Duke's daughter. I've read the light novel actually. It's I think I've read 3 books of it, or close to 3 books of it. It was on J-Novel, and I did not know this was becoming an anime. So I kind of know what's going to happen. I know how it's going to proceed, but it's been pretty fun watching what I've seen so far. I don't know what else to say about this. It's a girl that has problems with casting magic, and as being the Duke's daughter, she's kind of has these expectations placed on herself that she needs to become strong enough and become powerful to help with the family. But being her unable to use any magic at all, she's has a lot of self-esteem problems, and hopefully the tutor, which is sent to help him, Alan, can help her overcome these issues. And Alan is kind of regarded as a genius in this world, where he's also considered to be the I can't remember what they call him, like the right hand of the sword saint or something like that, where he's recognized as being the person who raised this other famous sorcerer to heights that is unbelievable. So he's recognized for what all that he's done. So hopefully having him become the tutor will help her achieve what she wants and so forth. So that's kind of the first book in a nutshell and the first arc of the show. as you continue after that, we'll see how it goes. But um, I will say this though: there's a lot of little girl characters, so if that's something you really enjoy, I'm not going to say that weird word for it, but you may want to check that out.
The way you describe sounded wrong already.
Yeah, I didn't really mean to say it that way. I just don't know how to say it without being weird, I guess. Oops. Accidentally closed that. The next title is another one that I've read the manga of, and I thought it was really fun. Dealing with the Mokaido sisters is a breeze. I found out it's a shonen, right? Because we were trying to
I
discuss
believe it is.
what kind of
Yeah, we were
type
trying
it's-
to. Yeah, and I think it did. I think I remember end up looking at it, and it did say that it was under shonen for their target audience.
But this boy whose mother has died, his mother being a really famous actress and a person out there in the world who's just achieved far more than anyone else out there. But as a son of this very high accomplished individual, everyone has high expectations of him. But he is mediocre to the max and everything. Maybe even lower than that, where he can't do any activities, his acting is terrible. He just can't do much and is seen as a failure once others do meet him because they don't know about this about him. So the Mikado sisters, or Mikadono sisters, when he enters school, decide to test him to see if he's worthy of being in this school, and find out he's less than what everyone kind of talks him up to be. But because of their father was really in love with the mother. I don't know, I wouldn't say love, I guess, but really respected her. Decided to take the boy under his wings to raise him and to help him with his daily life just because of his mother. But he doesn't know the truth about him because he's never around. So he decides to have him live in the house where these three sisters live. And slowly you find out that while he's not really good at anything else, he's really good at housework because he's always been home alone while his mother's been out. So it seems like he's going to become this caretaker of these three sisters as he helps them through their troubles and everything. But it's a really silly show. I would say check out the first episode. It's pretty much what it's going to be in a nutshell there. It does have those hard harem vibes, which girl is he going to end up with, which sister. But
So I remember when I was watching this, like I brought it up to you, Tank, that I think this is almost like a combination of like two shows that we've already seen. Just because there's like like they're all like all the girls are related. It makes me think, quintessential quintuplets, sisters, multiple sisters. And then the other aspect that I think about is the dormitory mother, the god, what was it? The goddess dormitory, or mother, the goddess dormitory,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, but
Like it's literally kind of like a mix of those two animes together, and that's literally what I think is kind of like the same thing here.
But the
you know,
main thing in this show is that the boy's driving factor is that when his mother was on her deathbed, he realized that while she was talented and had all of this, what she really wanted was a loving family. And because he was kind of blinded by her success and didn't really look at her through as a mother, he kind of missed that time to be with her and to have that family relationship. So in this new setting, he decides that he's going to try to thrive on that idea and try to make a family with these girls, or live as a family with them to make up for the time he lost with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
But all these girls are also just peers at whatever they do. One's a karate expert, one's a thespian, actor, that just excels in that field as well. And then the other one's a shogi genius.
Yeah.
So
They're all prodigies.
yeah. Let's go to the next title then. Mizu something, right?
Mizu Sokusei no Mahotsukai Ai Chibu.
Yeah, this one is actually a show that I'm really enjoying privately. We haven't been watching it together. It's called The Water Magician on Crunchyroll. This boy, it's an isekai, of course. The boy gets killed, gets resurrected, and is given some cheat abilities, right? Where he's given the affinity of water. But he wants to live a slow life, just relaxing. So he's thrown kind of out in the middle of nowhere where he can just do things on his own. And as he learns how to use magic and also learns how to survive in this world, he gains the strength and knowledge of magic, and also kind of builds upon what he has learned in his world in this one, right? So, but because he's been living alone, he's kind of ignorant of what's really out there and how things really are. So when he meets a new individual by rescuing him from a collapsed ship, he meets Abel, I think is his name. Abel implores Rio to help him to go back to civilization. So Rio decides to accompany him on his journey to also view the world, and it's pretty entertaining in a sense that he's obviously OP'd, but I won't say he hides it. It's just that he doesn't flaunt it, or he doesn't go out there to try to make a name for himself. He's more interested in his own things, where he'll just spend hours in a library while everyone's out trying to adventure and make a name for themselves. He's more there for the knowledge and to learn and to experience new things, rather than there to fight, even though he is very strong. Recently, we've encountered a new enemy that just came out of nowhere, like a demon, or Akuma as they called it. So we'll see how that how that goes into the story now, because he had a really tough fight with her, even though he is considered, maybe one of the strongest in this world. But it's pretty entertaining, for me at least. Next up, we'll skip that show because that show is terrible.
Which one?
The Necro.
The Namiko one?
Yeah. I heard people complaining a lot about that because supposedly in one of the languages it has ChatGPT.
Oh,
so they think it was
for
translated from that.
Oh gosh.
The other one I don't have. This one has also been out there. Everyone's talking about it a little bit. Nukitashi, the animation, because this is basically hentai.
Yeah, because it's based off of a very heavy NSFW visual novel.
Yeah. It's being streamed on a weird streaming site because it's not any sites we know about. It's a thing called Oceanville, which I have no idea anything about it. But yeah, basically there's this island, an island where sex is basically the norm, where people are having sex everywhere, public, school, beaches, restaurants. I mean, in the show it's just thrown out there all over the place. No, we don't see any real genitals or anything. Everything's just body on top of body. So you could see they're doing the act, but because of it's on TV or censorship, right? There's no genitalia. So take with that what you will. But it's the fight against openness, sex, and the fact that in this place, sex for love is frowned upon. So it's kind of like, what's that show called where the people who are fighting for sex or sexual content? Socks, I think they were called, where they try to show how sexual things are around the world, where everyone was censoring it. This is the opposite of that. We'll skip Omyo Ken because that one was a really strange show. I think it has its appeal, but not for me.
Mm.
Oh, here's the next title that everyone's talking about.
Woo!
Rin no Hoseki. Did I say that right?
Hmm?
No.
Rudy.
Oh,
Rudy.
Rudy. Sorry, I was looking at it through the side, so I thought I.
Rudy no Hoseki.
Yeah, I've been talking for a while. Someone else get it.
Vinny, you want to take this one?
All right, I'll take this one. Okay, so our main character named Luri, sees those fancy jewelries and wants to get a piece of it, except when he went to the local shops nearby. Anything made out of gemstone is obviously prohibitively expensive, well beyond her reach. So she had this great ideas of, well, if those rocks are coming out from Earth, surely I can excavate something with a little shovel of mine. So she decided to hop and skip over to the backyard somewhere to dig a hole and hope to find these gemstones, except nothing happens. But by chance, she come across geology major abilities and master class who happens to be walking by, and Luri decides to shamelessly ask her for help, and she said, "You know what? Yeah, why not? I have time to kill." So this girl Nagi, the graduate student, takes Luri along for a little bit of a gem study, and they discover all this precious gemstone, both valuable and not so valuable. But to point of Luri, everything is nice and shiny, and crystals are shiny. Some of the ones that shines through the UV lights are very sparkly like a star just in the sky. So every episode is about making new discovery. One episode is about finding gold, which is not just go to a cave and just dig a good old chunk of gold rocks, but it's more like prospectors in the wild west, where you literally shovel a bunch of those sand onto the pan and just wash it through the water and hope to find a small smidgen of gold and all that. So the information itself is a very grounded in reality. They don't make this earth shaking discovery. But everything through the point of Luri, everything is new and sparkling, very interesting. And I think I'm hoping that this is a show that's intended to make a geology a little bit more aware to the other people. I mean, a lot of animes tend to have those kind of effect that taking those mundane daily life stuff and making very interesting, and it ended up sparking interest for few people, more than few people, and some ended up actually sticking through it. It's like Keion did with Rock Band and the instrument, the electric guitar did it, or Camp did with all this camping throughout the Mount Fuji in the Japan, which created quite a bit of a boom after that. And Luri's Rocks has potential to have such thing because every episode is well presented, well drawn. Even though Luri herself is a bit of a bratty girl, but then you can kind of excuse her for being, she's a teenager with quite a bit of short of a attention span, who gets tired easily, who gets irritated easily, who gets frustrated easily for not just finding this big nugget of the gemstones, but then she still faithfully follows along Nagi's instructions and making big and small discovery of her liking. And I believe in one episode she literally grabbed a hold of a bunch of rocks and shoved that into the backpack, and she's just walking along in this sagging bag, which I find it funny. But if you are very proud of your discovery, I can definitely see that people will do something like that at that age. So it's been a very enjoyable series so far, and hopefully more people watch the series like that.
So, the thing I want to add about it is like you said, there's really nothing earth shattering, but I think they do have something like that every episode in a sense where they kind of go above and beyond what I think is believable. Like when they were going for rubies, the whole first part was believable where they would find like one, maybe in a river and stuff, but then they had to go to a place where there's like the whole bottom was shining because it was just full of rubies. And even with the gold, at the very end, she found that whole big plate of like gold, right? So they do have
Right.
some of these small moments where it's like I can get it for the appeal of the show to be like, wow, there's this extraordinary things that can happen. But other than that, everything else has been, I think, really fun and somewhat believable. Because like I've actually, I don't know if you guys know, but here in down here in the south, there's a place in Arkansas that you can go for diamond mining or harvesting.
Yeah, I heard about that. I
No,
did heard about it.
And I've done that.
Somebody at I came across a Reddit thread not long ago, and it said, of all places, Arkansas. And somebody said, you mean I actually have to go to Arkansas for change?
Yeah. So I went there with my family, and we went sifting trying to find diamonds. We didn't find any. Supposedly one person did find one, but we were leaving, so we didn't get to see if it was true or not. Because I swear, some of that stuff you find in there, you're like, oh, could this be it? And they're like, nope, watch, crush.
It's just cork.
I mean, I did hear that there's a good chance of you finding something like so tiny that might as well be like industrial grade, not something that's actually worth it. You can turn into a jewelry for. But sounds like a fun outings if you don't mind being outdoor and doing outdoor stuff.
You just don't go during November, because that's when we went, and the water was so cold.
Oh.
I think it was November. I don't know. I just remember it was super cold, and my hands are freezing in the water trying to sift the dirt.
Also, this series is being produced by Studio Bind, I believe, which is known for producing high-quality series, regardless of the topic of the series they're covering.
I will say that like every episode that so far that I noticed has this like one part where it's like they put crazy, like beautiful like sunset animation.
So they're the ones who did
It's been in
Mushoku
like
Tensei.
every episode.
They're the ones who did Mushoku Tensei.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then also that one Flower in the Azura, which had that really cool, amazing scene in the first episode.
They did, yeah. I prefer not to remember about the other series. I'm purging it out of my memory.
So be sure to check that out. There's a lot of videos and clips you can see probably on X. That's where I've been seeing them a lot of. So it's been pretty popular. Let's go to the next one, which you said it was from Studio It, the Bunny Girl Senpai. Is this like third
Cloverworks,
season?
right?
It's the third season, yes. This is the college arc. You know, they're finally done with the stupid high school.
So I can't remember. I think it was. I know there was season 1, and then there were some movies, right?
Yeah, that's the problem with this series. There's a bunch of movies thrown in between that covers the volumes that's not covered in anime. And since it's out on theaters, unless a streaming service has those movies readily available, it does get very confusing if you miss out the movies. And I did miss out the movie, so it kind of threw me off a loop. It's like, wait a minute, why are they in the college already? Having said that, there's really not much to add about this series other than the fact that if you're a fan of the first 2 seasons and you're following the series all along, then you'll probably be watching it, enjoying it, because it has all this goodness and the quirkiness and the cutesy quality of all that from the first 2 seasons. But if you didn't watch the first 2 seasons and still somehow interested in it, I strongly suggest to go through the first 2 seasons and catch up with the movies before jumping into it. Otherwise, it's just gonna be very confusing. I mean, even from the first season, some part of it was kind of confusing with all this juxtaposition of a whole syndrome they're going through, and there's just simply the continuation of all that.
All right. But I will say I think that's her name, right? And the main guy's
Yeah.
relationship are really funny. It kind of reminds me of Monogatari with Araragi and Hanekawa.
They act like two old couples bickering over everything.
All right. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this one. This one I've really been enjoying myself as well. Oops. Come on, click on the right thing. It's called The Silent Witch. Yeah, Silent Witch. There it is. Click. Open.
Did you just say silent twitch?
Yeah, Silent Witch. Secrets of the Silent Witch is what it's called on Crunchyroll. There it is. It's a fantasy world with magic, swords, dragons, all that crazy stuff in hula. But in this show, we're introduced to Monica, which is this very timid little girl who's very by herself and doesn't want to be really out there with anyone. You find out that she has what they call komisho, right? Communication disorder, where she can't communicate with others without going into panic attacks or whatever. So, because of this, when she was in school learning magic, she, instead of, overcoming her shyness or her communication disorder, she decides, why don't I learn how to cast magic without having to say anything? Thus, chantless magic was created from her, and hence she got the marker, the Silent Witch, which she was also given one of I can't remember how many there are. I think there's 7 sages in this world, and she was appointed as one of them because of how powerful she is, and also because of her ability with this magic. But because of her being so well known and so popular with this magic, and with her being so shy, no one actually knows who the Silent Witch really is. So with this hidden information, they decide to put her on a mission to protect a prince, which is being targeted for assassination in some way. They don't know exactly how or what's going to happen, but they decide to, because of how small of a person she is, she could probably pass for a school. Actually, I think she's only 16 still, that she could go to the school and keep an eye on the prince and watch out over him. But with her, shyness, how well is she going to be able to protect him, being scared of every single encounter she has with a human, right? So it's been really fun. The magic she cast looks beautiful in the show. Every time she uses it, it's just really picturesque and just shines as one of the highlights in the show. While everything else has been pretty fun, how she has been slowly integrating with the classmates, but she also has a friend that's helping her, which is also Hoot. She decides to play the villainous, high class, spoiled kid, while she's actually in love and wants to support Monica in everything she does. But it's just so funny how she takes this over the top approach to her, and then the next second she's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so cute," when no one's watching. So it's a show I would say please check out. It's really, I love it. It's really watchable and really fun. Let me see. No one else saw it, or you guys have?
I saw the first episode, but that's about it. I really enjoyed the first episode. The first episode was so good.
I've been watching it. It's funny so far.
Yeah.
I like her logic, Boba. I'm not good at talking to people, so I'm just gonna stop talking. Yeah, my kind of people.
Yeah, but she's a mathical wizard, and she just goes off on her math, and it's just really fun how has that.
I think those are kind of all those quality of maniacs. they just get obsessed with certain things. So almost like, I don't know, I'm probably politically wrong here. It's like almost has that autistic spectrum type of quality.
But wonderful show. Check it out. The next title is a show that everyone's been probably waiting for a while, right? Especially now that the series is over, right? For the manga, which is My
Yes.
Dress Up Darling. So,
Woo!
so it's just a continuation.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's really much to say about it, right?
Not really. I mean, if you really enjoyed the first season, you are most likely gonna watch this season. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's not really
I mean,
much.
I've been
Mm.
told that it's very popular amongst the teenage boys. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah. We are introduced to some more, I guess, kind of out of there things with the introduction of the crossplay. So they don't really go too deep into it, I think, in the anime, but right now. But I think it's going to get a little more as we go on, right?
Yeah, I mean, we
Uh,
had 2 instances of crossplay now, or
Go ahead.
about to be 2. Oh no, that was it. I was just gonna comment that we are about to have like 2 instances because we have one that was from, I forget the the person's name, but it was from a male, crossplaying as a female, and then we're about to get into the portion where, it's Modern that's gonna be somewhat crossplaying because
Uh,
she's cosplaying as a female who does dress up as a host to look like a male. So it's like cosplay slash crossplay.
Cosplay within cosplay, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
Only thing to add is that based on the ending credit, it makes me believe that they are going to go through the entirety of the series in a second season.
That's what I was a little bit worried about because I saw a lot of the cosplays. I was like, that's a lot that they're gonna try to if they're trying unless they're just putting that out and then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go into second core. So I mean,
I mean, if they want to go to second core, I'm all for it.
right,
Because quite frankly, trying to squeeze everything into 12 episodes might be a little difficult, but then
yeah,
I do not believe it's long enough to warrant a third season content-wise. So I just don't know how they're gonna make it work. Are they gonna kind of do that 13 plus 1 extra
Maybe
to
make it a
wrap up the
movie.
series, or are they gonna go with? I don't know about the movies. It's a, I mean, yeah, the ending does have an impact, but I don't know if it's worthy enough to really try to turn into a theatrical feature. If anything, it would be more suitable as an OVA, but then who in these days wants the OVA anyway?
yeah,
And it's almost like they need about 18, 19 episodes to wrap it up properly, but that kind of goes into the weird, awkward, like 1.5 core. So are they gonna try to put the fillers to make it 2 core? Or are they just gonna trim down to the bare minimum, cut out all the fat and just try to squeeze down to a 13 episode and make it work somehow? That's somewhat concerning. Because I don't know what to make out of this pace at the moment.
Yep. Let's go to the next title, because everyone knows about that. Oh, I did want to make one call out for Dragon. Dragon, can you mention? You said the ending was made by a special group.
yeah. So the ending is animated by a very now popular artist and her partner. But it's animated by Vivinos and Qmang, and they are the same 2 people that animated all the Alien Stage music videos. So, um, it's like once you see it, like you people who have seen Alien Stage should be able to recognize that it's of her work. And just a little fun fact that it's made by the same creators of Alien Stage.
Next up, I might have to skip it a little bit. because we got. I just want to mention there's also the Shield Heroes season 4 that's out.
Mm.
I forgot what happened in season 3, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch so I can continue season 4. But next up is the Seventh Prince. That's what I call it. Season 2. It's like I was reincarnated as a seventh prince, so I could take my time perfecting my
And, like,
magic ability.
Magic. Yeah.
So, once again, it's one of those shows. If you've seen the first season, you're kind of excited for the second season and what that arc's going to
Yes.
contain. We got a lot of Lloyd being Lloyd, trying to get more magic under his belt, and then we got Silpha and Tao fighting over who's going to be perfect for Lloyd, with Rin being the timid little girl around saying, "I want a part of this too." But we have now Babylon being recognized as a group within this world to be with Lloyd, and we'll see how things go because we were introduced to demons at the end of the first season, right? So we'll see if more demons appear and how it's going to affect in this world, or this new season. But not much else to say about that, right?
Nope.
Next up is this show. This show has really been really good, I think. The Outcast something, right?
Oh, welcome to the Outcast restaurant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Okay, on the title. Suihosha Shokudo Yokoso. One of their Crunchyroll titles out there.
Mm.
Let me see who's watching it. Oh, everyone almost.
Woo!
It's a nice fantasy title. Kind of it has that kind of feel of the hero kicking out the adventurer who supports the whole party, right? And then
Yep.
realizing that they got, oh no, he was the core teammate. So we haven't seen that yet.
He was
but
glue that was holding us all together.
yeah, we haven't seen that yet. But as Dennis, our main protagonist, is kicked out of the party, he decides that he's going to open up his own restaurant that he's always wished to have. And Dennis is a weird person because his class is a chef, even as a fighter. And I believe in this party, he was one of the only high-ranking adventurers. I think he was like one of the only 99 in the group. I don't know if I'm remembering this from the anime or from the manga, because I've read the manga as well, and it was really fun. He decides to open a restaurant, and he finds this
Yeah, Vinny,
auction.
that I heard about that. Hero told me about that. It's just crazy. So Vinny messaged saying that this is one of the titles that was affected by a recent cancellation from the illustrator slash character designer.
What do you mean cancellation? They canceled the show?
No, so
No.
the illustrator was canceled, and were they arrested as they were arrested too, right? Or no?
No, he's not arrested yet.
Okay.
It's pending whether the victim files a charge or not.
But it was it because of in relation to a minor, or was it having CP? I forget, it was one of the two.
Minor relationship with the minor,
Minor,
very
okay.
minor. What happened was that the character designer for this series and the illustrator for the other series about the guild receptionist who doesn't want to do overtime
Yeah.
one. He admitted during one of the podcasts that he was in relationship with a minor, and mind you, this guy is 39 years old now, and the victim is 16. And this relationship supposed to start 3 years ago, which makes a 13-year-old 20 plus years minor of him. So when that word got out, the publisher Kadokawa pretty much pressed the stop button on all the press, recalled the entire batches of unsold copies of that series and this series and anything that he was illustrated. They're in the process of recruiting illustrator to not only replace him as a future titles and the volumes, but they are in process of redrawing everything.
Oh, really?
So he pretty much said, I guess my career is over at this point, which it probably is. And now
Yeah.
this may or may not become a criminal case, depending on whether the family of the girl decide to press charge or not. But then this kind of goes into the weird conundrum of Japanese age of consent law, which changed back in 2023, 2 years ago, which was they raised the legal age of consent from 13 to 16. So it's kind of in a very murky ground. Morally, it's very much wrong, but legally, he may or may not be wrong, depending on whether this was a consensual relationship or not. So even then, given that light novels, anime, and manga is no longer fully devoted to the domestic consumption at this point, it's really hard to avoid not doing what Kadokawa is basically doing at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this series it's based on light novels, so future volumes may look a little different. Although if you're a manga reader like I am, then it won't be noticeable since manga designer and the creator is not usually not the character designer illustrator.
And then I would also like to add that it's whatchamacallit? That this illustrator was, I believe, also the artist for a VTuber, like a really well-known VTuber. It was Minato Aqua slash I forgot her new I forget the handle, but it was Minato Aqua's illustrator for her model from Hololive.
Well, that's gonna be a problem.
But I mean, Minato Aqua has graduated since, so
Yeah, but that does not mean that her herself is not just gone away. It's still
yeah,
in YouTube and what have you. So
yeah.
But going back to the story, Dennis is kicked out of the
Yes.
party and decides to open a restaurant. Sees that this little girl is being sold Altier, and the look in her eyes reminded him of his past and of being helpless, I guess, right? So he decides to take her in and run this restaurant with her as, like, I guess the sign girl, right? Or the waitress. So we have each episode with a different individual visiting this restaurant, learning about it, and then with Dennis helping them in their problems in different ways. So it's a pretty fun show. It's very relaxing and very fun to watch. Anyone else have anything else to say about the show?
All the food is always delicious looking. I love I love when they finish the cooking and we get to see the whole dish displayed, and it's so yummy looking. And then also, like, oh, this anime, like, it has a little bit of like some like it kind of goes through like each of the customers so far for the restaurant in whatever issue that they suffer, but it's always all kind of like relieved away from the chef's cooking, and it's always so nice.
All right, let's go to the some passing titles we'll go through. Turkey, which is about bowling, so if you like bowling, maybe check that out. I haven't seen past the first episode, so I don't know how much bowling is really in it. I just saw them getting isekai'd away at the end. So, is it about bowling? Who knows? There's this other title that kind of came up. I've only seen the first episode. I want to watch more. It's called Watori Kun's blank 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 is about to collapse. I've read the manga. It was really interesting manga, so I kind of want to check out more. But we'll see how it goes. Next up is a title that I kind of like. It's a lot of people look for these kind of titles. Watashi. There it is. Watashi ga koibito ni nareru wake nai ja muri muri. What? There's no freaking way I'll be your lover unless. So this girl, I think she has another. She's one of those another komisho characters, communication disorders. She can't stand being out there, but she's decided to change herself for high school. She somehow gets into this prestigious high school that she feels that she doesn't deserve to be in, but also she wants to change her image to being someone more outgoing and more with everyone. So as she learned how to dress from her sister, how to act, and now she's going to the school, and she somehow gets roped into the big circle with the top 4 girls of the class, right? And through her encounters and her being with them, she realized it's still too much. So she finds time to try to get away from them to be on her own. But because of that, Mai notices her and confronts her. And as she learns the truth about her, she also, kind of confesses about how she views herself and how she's always seen as perfect and how she has to live that life. And because of that, Renako, the komisho girl, helps her through her problems and talks to her, and because of that, Mai falls in love with her. So now we have this Yuri aspect, but Renako doesn't want a lover. She wants a friend, while Mai doesn't want to be friends. She wants to be lovers. So they kind of make a deal that Mai's going to try to make her fall in love with her, and Renako is going to try to prove to Mai that being friends is way better than being lovers. And that's the season. That's the series, right? As they try to prove to each other, one's better than the other. They kind of made a deal where Mai, if she's wearing her hair up, that means they're going to be in a friendship mode. But if she wears her hair down, that means they're in lover mode, and they should treat each other as such. So it's been pretty fun. I think it's streamed on YouTube, so you can easily go there and watch it. I think that's the only place I've been able to find it. I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. But they have it streaming there, and the subtitles are pretty decent, and the show's okay. Anything else? Nope. I'm the only one watching that.
Or which one? Oh yeah, I haven't watched this one.
It's Yuri, man. It's Yuri. I'm just kidding.
Okay, it looked like Yuri, but I wasn't sure if it was Yuri.
Next up is another show that we've been highly anticipating, Call of the Night Season 2.
Yeah, I mean, is there much to say? It's kind of like any other, like, Season 2 anime on the list. If you enjoyed Call of the Night Season 1, you will be watching Call of the Night Season 2. I mean... I will say that I feel like the vibes is already gonna be different though, just from the opening immediately, because we're not in that fun upbeat opening just like season 1. We're in this kind of like more like low, kind of like moody opening for season 2.
Sorry about that. Something got freaked me out over here. Yeah, so it's still Cole and Nazuna, and their antics on making Cole become a vampire. And then also meeting a bunch of the other vampires in the town. Next up is going to be our last title. I've read this manga as well. It's nothing super impressive. Now, this is one of those OP guys who thinks he's lower than average, who believes that he doesn't he doesn't help anyone in anything, that he's super weak and that he's worthless while he's really the strongest person out there. He was kicked out of his party for being useless, and because of his demeanor, he believes it, and still tries to live his life as I believe he's a white mage, so he's a mage that heavily does support. And he's picked up by another party that's looking for a white mage and realizes, dang, Lloyd, you're like OP. You're really strong. How can anyone think you're less than anything? But because of how he was raised, he'll kind of always have this reservation about how strong he really is. But like I said, I've read the manga. It's pretty much following along the same lines. They did the first episode kind of was different from how the manga went, but everything else is kind of following the same path. While the manga never showed how he was raised or how he lived right off the bat, this one kind of started right off the bat in a chronicle order with him being picked up and showing how he became so strong. But other than that, not much else to say about this show. It's pretty straightforward what it is. Kicked out of the heroes party, and now that party's going to fall apart while this new party he's with thrives. I mean, we've seen this over and over again. But the only thing I could say about this show is that from the manga, it doesn't have the same feelings as a harem. Like the other ones tend to be, he ends up joining a bunch of other females and becomes a harem, right? And this one doesn't really have that. But other than that, any other call-outs you guys want to make about this season, or anything that we might have glossed over?
103 title is just too stinking many.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's like, I like anime just like everybody else around here, but my god, 103 series, how could anybody watch all of that?
Yeah, that's not including the OVAs and movies.
Ugh.
But I don't think there's any movies coming out soon, is there?
Just the usual Ghibli fest that's going around. That's what I recall as far as I know.
The only other thing I can think of is that a few of us will be going to Anime NYC. So if you want to say hi, we'll be there. I'll have a booth with my friend Oz. I'll be selling his stuff, his art. His art's really beautiful. Actually, not beautiful, it's sexy.
Yeah, Oz is more of a sexy girl type. Kind of cool Western sci-fi-ish style, not the cutesy Kirby type. Yeah, just look for the guy who's sitting next to this art handler who's stamping up, rubber stamped looking thing with popular characters. That's him.
Yeah. Also, I believe. Oh man, what was I going to say? Oh, before the end of the new season, I think, because it's in September, tends to be the Aniplex Online Festival. So you can see all the new titles Aniplex is going to be releasing on there. They usually stream it on YouTube. That's where we watch it. So check out their YouTube channel, and you can check their live Aniplex thing, and that's where we got a lot of these new titles and figure out what we were going to watch. Like, what was it? Solo Leveling, right? We knew about that for a long time because of that.
Yeah.
Gun Gal Online.
All right.
And some other really interesting shows. So they always have musical arts there. That's a DJ and some really cool events to showcase these new shows. So be sure to check it out.
I just wish their timing slot isn't so awkward for us. It's like dead of the night heading towards a Monday.
Yeah, because of Japan. If only
Yeah.
we could be in the same time zone. um. Oh, also, if you go to I think it's Crunchyroll. There's a few new titles out for movies that you can check out. They got the Kizumonogatari compilation movies for the Kiyomi arc, I guess they call it. So you could see the Kizumonogatari in one film rather than three. They also put another movie in there, Adachi and Samura movie on there. Joseph the Tiger and the Fish is on there now. So there's some really good movies on Crunchyroll that have been imported. So be sure to check those out, especially Joseph the Tiger and the Fish. That's a great movie. Other than that, I guess it's time to say bye bye, right? Bye bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.